What's up? All right. Happy Friday. I'll give it a few moments for folks to join in. But if I don't know you, my name is Lauren, and I am here to talk all things creativity. And you can expect for this call to be about 20 to 30 minutes. But some of the topics that I wanted to cover was you are a creative, whether you get paid for it or not, how to get rid of a creative block, and how to make more time for your creativity. So if you are here, say something in the chat box. I would love to know where you're at in your creative path. Mm-mm. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started just to honor time. But for those of you that don't know me, I'm a creative entrepreneur. I have created the Lion's Den, which is a creative community organization. I recently launched a podcast this summer. I launched my website and my blog earlier this year. Hey, boo. Um, I'm a dancer and a choreographer, which is how a lot of everyone on Facebook knows me for. Um, and stepping into this new season of partnering with people and coaching them to fulfill their creative dreams. And so I wanted to talk about, like I said earlier, you are a creative, whether you get paid for it or not, how to create more time in your life for your creative passions, and how to get rid of a creative block. We talk about writer's block a lot, but that's not always applicable to all of us. For me, sometimes it's choreography block, um, dancer's block. So, whatever that means for you. Um, so, yeah, type in the chat box how you identify with the word creativity. What is your relationship with creativity? That would help me know how to gauge this conversation. Um, and I'm very responsive to the chat box, so feel free to say anything that's on your heart or a question that you have, or maybe something that you're struggling with. But yes, so I really believe we're all creatives. We were created by the ultimate creator. Shout out to Jesus. Hey. Um, and if we take a look back to our childhood, our inner child when we were young, we were creating all the time, unapologetically, whether that was making forts or drawing or coloring, or making up dances. I've been making up dances since I was little, and putting on like these shows, right? When Beanie Babies were like really popular, I would like sit them all along like around this pretend stage and put on this show. So since we were little, we have been just tapping into this creativity, without caring about what other people think, without caring about what it looked like. And so my question for you is, what would that look like if we had that same approach as an adult? And um, and really getting clear on like what does it mean to be creative? And I think sometimes people confuse that you have to be artistic in order to be a creative. And I want to like debunk that now, that every single one of us on here has done a creative act today. And I know it's only 10 in the morning right now, or whatever time it is that you're watching this. You've already done something creative. I put on these earrings. I put on some light lipstick for y'all. I filled in my brows. I put on a sweater, taking a look at your space, right? How we decorate our homes, the meals that we cook. Like these aren't things that just were already there. We created those things. And so just to like let you know that you are creative every single day, from the moment that you're picking out your clothes to the meals that you're deciding to make. Um, and then even getting into the workspace and opening up your inbox and creating a fresh email, that is an act of creativity. Yes, it's an admin task, but you are creating something from nothing. And so that's just to kind of like flip this on its head, that we are creative every single day. And regardless of your occupation or your 9 to 5 job, you don't need to be doing, you don't need to be getting paid in order for you to qualify yourself as a creative. Um, so yeah, that's kind of like how I wanted to start this conversation. Um, and also flip it on its head as well as incorporating the idea of play. We always talk about grinding, hustling, working hard, pushing, right? This whole hustle culture that we're in, and especially in the middle of this pandemic, some people have been like, if you don't walk out with a new business or something, right? What have you been doing? Okay, let's let that go, right? Just because you're not coming off here with a new business or a new show or something does not mean that you have not been creative. And so I want to start with, well, how do we make time for creativity? Right? Especially if you are a working mom or dad, or you have kids and you're married and you're working full time. You're like, dude, I have no idea how I'm even going to make space for this. Well, just like anything else, if we're making time for certain things like working out, meal prepping, if we're making time for, um, what's another thing? Netflix, okay? This isn't to make you feel guilty, but just to remind you that there is time. But sometimes it's not in the forefront of our mind that we need to schedule in time to be creative. And you're maybe wondering, well, why should I even include creativity in my day? Well, there's a lot of benefits to creativity. It de-stresses us, right? Who doesn't want that right now? Who doesn't want to feel good, right? And creativity does that for us. It helps us improve our mood. When we are in a better mood, we're able to show up better for other people. Um, eat deep, deep. Yeah. And it increases our concentration. So, especially when we're working from home, living at home, all of our boundaries are now blended into the same 4 walls. Concentration is needed, focus is needed. And when we tap into our creativity more, we're able to show up in that type of way. And so, going back to like making time for it, I invite you to open up your calendar, look over the next week, look at the spaces that you have in your calendar, and ask yourself, what has been something that's been tugging at my heart to create that I just haven't been able to do? And again, it could be a blog, it could be a piece of art, it could be uh, booking a client, right? For those that are in coaching, I truly believe that coaching is a creative act. Or if you're into consulting as well, coming up with solutions, coming up with guidance and things of that sort. We are creating in every capacity all the time. But what about creating for yourself? Like just for you because it's fun, because it feels good. What would that look like for you? And maybe there's some attached guilt to that. Maybe you feel like, I don't have time to play. I don't have time to do those childish things or those things that I did when I was a kid. Well, I want to challenge you on that. I want to challenge you on seeing creativity as a radical act of self care, right? And I've said this before, self care is not a luxury, it's a necessity, right? We're taking care of ourselves physically, we're taking care of ourselves spiritually. We got to take care of ourselves creatively. Life is short. I think if there's anything we're learning about this year is that life is so short and there is no better time than right now. So maybe set up 5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes goes a long way. And the reason why I recommend 5 minutes is it doesn't sound so daunting, right? Versus like, oh, I have to find an hour today to work on my dance. or to write this blog. That sounds like a lot of time. But when I say 5 or 10 minutes, it's not as daunting. I'm like, okay, everyone's got 5 to 10 minutes. Show up for those 5 to 10 minutes. Start in those 5 to 10 minutes and just notice how you actually are going to want to continue creating. That's a hack that I did for myself when it comes to dance training. I always feel like I don't have enough time to dance because I am doing a lot of things throughout the day, whether teaching for other employers or teaching in my own membership program or working on the Lion's Den or working on the podcast. Like there's so many things that I am spreading my time across that sometimes I feel like dance is on the back burner. But I have to remember that dance is so important to me. That's what started all of this for me. That was my first love. Hey, Paul. Um, and so now what I do is I just turn on music and I'm like, all right, Lauren, just dance for one song, just one song. And you know what happens after I dance for one song? I'm not ready to stop, right? So we're tricking our brain, right? We're making ourselves think that this is possible. But then once you actually start and you're enjoying it, you're going to be creating much longer. All right. Um, and so back to the question I asked earlier, what is something that's tugging on your heart right now that you just haven't made time for? Find the space in your calendar today, tomorrow, later this week, and commit to showing up for it the way we commit for everyone else, every meeting that we're scheduled for, right? Every Zoom call we're scheduled for. We're showing up for other people, but what about the integrity with ourselves? If we don't have integrity with ourselves, it's going to translate into other areas of our life. And people will respect your time more when you make time for yourself. Um, yeah. And if you're watching this, let me know. I can't see like who's actually watching, so definitely type in the chat box. That would help me. I'd love to hear from you of what your weekly, daily creative act is. Maybe you haven't started. That's okay. But if you missed the earlier portion of this live, I was saying that we are creative every single day, from the clothes that we put on to the earrings to making our meals to decorating our home. Hey, boo. Um, so many creatives in this chat. I love it. We are creative every single day. Okay. And I'm just looking down because I don't want to get in a tangent and I want to stay on track, because my mind is always like boop, 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 boop. Um, Okay, this is what I wanted to say. This is what I wanted to say. Excuse me. Um, Understand that when we create something, it's it's never completely finished. And I think that's what stops a lot of us sometimes is we over edit or we change things up or we don't post the video because it's not done in our mind. Well, sweet friend, that is the beautiful thing about art, about creative acts, is that there really is no end. I could always go back and change my choreography. I can always go back and make some changes in the blog that I posted, right? Done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect because we can always change our art. But there's got to be a point where you're just like, all right, I'm good with that. Yes, it may not be perfect in my eyes, but done is better than perfect, right? And how many times have you posted something and shared something and it got so much love? And in your mind, you thought it was like a crappy piece of art or choreography or whatever it was, but your people support you, right? You have a group of people that are cheering you on and want to see you pursue these creative acts. So, when we let go that there is a final end product, it's way easier to share our art. Um, and you have to be okay with making things that you don't like or are not good enough in your own brain, right? Because what is good enough? Art, creativity is subjective. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? It's the same thing with our art. The same thing. Um, so be okay with being uncomfortable. Be okay with making crappy artwork. right? You don't get the masterpiece right away. Like when we look at these books that we buy and that we support, right? There was so many drafts to these books, right? The labor of love for writing a book, right? So some people it takes years. So I encourage you to be okay with not always liking what you make and just put it out there. Be vulnerable. And that's the hard part is that when we create it is super vulnerable. It's a reflection of our heart. It's a reflection of our mind and our soul. And that's why it's so, 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 so special. So whether you qualify yourself as artistic or not, let's say you're more on the technical side or you're into consulting or coaching or whatever it is that's not quote unquote artistic, there is so much need for that. And when we withhold that from people, we're doing them a disservice. Really, truly. So I implore you to put your art out into the world, to put your creativity out into the world, to make time for it. I want to do another Facebook Live about unpacking perfectionism and procrastination because those two things are like right behind the fear of creating. Um, so yeah, let me know how this is landing for y'all, for the 8 people that are watching right now. Let me know in the chat box. Did something stick out for you? Do you struggle with certain things? I'm going to take a moment to pause. So let's do a quick recap. We talked about what it is to be a creative. We're all innately creative. We talked about how we were creative when we were children and we didn't care. We just made art and that was it. We didn't care about other people's opinions. Um, we talked about how we create every day, whether we realize it or not. We talked about how to make time for it. Start with 5 minutes. Commit to showing up for 5 minutes. If you can commit to 5 minutes, you can commit to more. But you got to start small. Make it reasonable for you. And then I asked y'all, what is something that you've been wanting to do that you just haven't made time for? And maybe you don't know right now in this moment. I invite you to journal about it. But I feel like you know. There's something that definitely came to your mind that was like, man, I've been saying I want to do this and I'm not doing it. Ask yourself, why am I not doing it? Is it because of time? Is it because I haven't made it a priority? Right? We make time for the things that are a priority, right? So, oh, and we also talked about that the creativity is never finished. Done is better than perfect. Wow, we talked about a lot. um, but thinking about creativity as a form of taking care of yourself, right? We feed ourselves physically, we get rest, we drink water, you have your spiritual practice. What about your creative practice? What about tending to the younger self inside you? I really, I really come from this place of just being like, yo, I'm the same little Lauren, just in a bigger body, right? Still has the same desires, some of the same insecurities, the same pain points. So, what would it look like if we took care of that younger self in the form of creativity? There was a topic that I didn't fully cover, and that was when you have a creative block. This is where a ritual is a game changer. What I mean by ritual is a daily habit, showing up for yourself every single day. And if this is something you're struggling with, like a morning routine or a daily routine, message me. I got you. Next week, I'm hosting a 5-day virtual retreat happening in the morning from 7:15 a.m. to 8:30, and it was created to help us show up for ourselves and to start cultivating a habit of waking up early. And now that's not the only thing that we get done. There were many different topics that we're covering: gratitude, redefining work, unpacking perfectionism, redefining what a morning routine is. And I had a lot of creatives in my last retreat, and this is what I said to them. What would it look like if you started your day taking care of yourself creatively before you showed up for other people. So a lot of my friends are graphic designers in their 9 to 5 job, and what I've noticed is that they are mentally, creatively depleted by the end of the day. They have no time, no energy to do the things that make them happy, to create for themselves, right? It's one thing to create for a job, for a paycheck, or for someone else's vision. It's another thing to create solely for yourself. It's so important to do that. And so, with this retreat next week, it's called Root to Rise. I'll put the link in the, can I put the link in here? Oh, I didn't scroll. My bad. I'm just seeing all this. Oh my God. I just seeing all the comments. I'm such a noob with Facebook Live. All good. Just do it. Yep. Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. I totally meant to reply to those. I didn't scroll. All good. This is how you know it's real. Um, yes, vulnerability. When I have something, I'm reading a comment. When I have something that's not up to par with my full potential, I don't want it to be a reflection of my skill level. I think it's because I know people support me. I don't want them to not see me, not live up to their expectations. You are preaching to the choir. This is exactly how I felt about dance. And you know what? It took the fun out of dance for me. There sometimes I feel this pressure that I need to show up a certain type of way, right? I've been dancing for so long. I've been known for Kodachrome. I've been known for Baha'i bass, known for the Lion's Den. And what that's done is sometimes place this pressure on me to like, blow people's minds every time I dance. And I want to like encourage you, forget that. People are impressed by the vulnerability, not necessarily from the actual artwork itself, but from having the boldness and the bravery to show up. Every time we post something, it's an act of vulnerability. There have been so many videos that I have not posted, and I don't know if y'all noticed this. There's so many pieces of choreography that I did not post out of like thinking I needed better video quality or needed to practice this more. And you know what? Let me tell you, I posted a choreography video from 3 years ago. I posted it the other day on my YouTube, which I don't even feel like I don't have that many subscribers. That video hit almost like 3,000 views in 1 week, right? Which was mind blowing. All my other videos do not have those types of views. But just to show you how much stuff are you hoarding that you're not posting or sharing because you don't think it's good enough. And so let's reframe that mindset. I think that if you flip that mindset into like, I really care about putting out quality work, instead of thinking of it as like, I'm not meeting my potential, we could flip that into, I just really strongly care about putting out quality. But I'm going to let go of this need for perfectionism and just share. Because when I share, I open up the space for other people to share. Remember what I said, your art, your creativity is needed, whether you think it's perfect or not. There really is no such thing as perfection because we're imperfect human beings. We are imperfect. So how are we ever going to create perfect art? We won't. That's the beauty of art, is that it's messy and it can be crappy, it can be ugly, it doesn't have to be beautiful. And you know what? That what in your eyes, what is crappy art is like amazing to someone else, right? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I'm just trying to go back through these comments. Yeah, so I was talking about a retreat. I'm going to put the link in here. I only have a few slots left. Let me see if it'll come up. Root to Rise. Yeah, it's not coming up. So let me, oh, it did. Hold on. This is my second one and it's my last one for the year. So I encourage you to join me for 5 days next week. It's Eastern Standard Time. I have one person from the West Coast signed up right now. Bless her heart. That means she's waking up super early for it. But let's say you can't make next week. DM me. I'm opening up the doors for coaching with me. I'm working towards my life coaching certification. And it is on my heart to take care of my creative friends, to take care of my creative family. And this is my first time saying it out loud. So that was super vulnerable for me and terrifying for me. Um, but I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be in your head and to feel like a prisoner to your own dreams. It's horrible. It's not a good feeling. And if I waited till perfection, if I waited till I knew how to do everything, the Lion's Den would have never been created. My podcast would have never been created. Coming here on live, do you think I 100% felt ready? No. But I'm showing up as my full, authentic self, right? And that's what the world needs is real. We just need real people doing real things and sharing. And so, what time is it? We're about 30 minutes in. Oh, thank you so much for attending. And feel free to DM me if you have more questions. Trying to look back through these comments. Thank you so much, y'all, for being actively engaged. It made me feel less alone. Yes, so many videos. I feel that. I feel that. Um, Imperfect action is better than no action. Absolutely. Yeah, y'all, don't wait. I got you. Anyways, give me a heart or drop an emoji in the comments so I know that um, I hope this served you. I hope this filled up your cup in some type of way to let go of the need for perfectionism and to show up as your full authentic self. Um, and we need to see more people that look like us doing these things, right? And, diversity, inclusivity are things that I am so passionate about. I have been since day one. Um, I didn't feel like there was always someone representing someone that looked like me. Um, and so just know that it's important for you to show up. There's someone that needs you to show up for them. All right. Thank you so much. This was so much fun. I'm just looking at these comments. Um, Thank you for being vulnerable in the chat box. Yeah. And check out the link for Root to Rise. I also have a podcast. Check that out. And my website if you want to work with me. Um, yeah, this is my jam. This is my jam. Thank you so much, everyone. It was a blast. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this will be saved. So share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Whoop, whoop. My computer is like getting loud. It might be overheating. All right, it's 10:30. I love y'all so much. Go create some dope art. Go be creative in whatever capacity that is for you. I'm here to cheer you on, to hold you accountable, and I will see you next time. Thank you.